Today I'm going to tell you about 15 mistakes you shouldn't make in Blox Fruits. Because this video has the goal to make your account even stronger in the fastest and smartest way there is in the game. And I'm going to split this content into 3 parts. Talking about the first, the second, and third C. First mistake, and one of the most common of all: if the IOLs happen to hand you a mythical fruit right at the start, don't eat it. There's no point in doing that, because mythical fruits usually have a maximum mastery of 300 points. And evolving a mastery from C1 to 300 right from C1 is a very complicated task. So it's simply not worth eating mythical fruits at C1. The second most made mistake has a lot to do with the first, which is eating the wrong fruit. Okay, Lucas, but what would be the right fruit? The best fruits to eat in C1 are certainly Buddha, Magma, Ice, Flame, or Light. So your goal right here in the first C1 is to get one of these fruits. One of the third most common mistakes made is not using the codes in Blox Fruits. I'm leaving a list of various codes on the screen at this very moment that are used for many things. Like, for example, 2 XP, you'll evolve twice as fast for a period of time. Or even the reset code, where you can simply reset your status to 1 and correct the mistake you made. And I'll leave all the updated Blox Fruits codes in the comments so you can evolve even faster. Another very common mistake C1 players make is saving the spawn in the wrong place. The best place to save the spawn in C1 is certainly here in the jungle. Because here's the thing, let's say it's 2 o'clock and you can spin a fruit. All you have to do is click on the little house next to the gift up here and you'll be teleported immediately to the jungle. This will speed up the way you collect your fruit treasure. Me, for example, have just picked up a falcon. Another mistake often made by beginners for sure is a mistake that leaves the player with swag but weaker and also poorer. That is buying swords. Like, for example, I have Bicento, which costs 1 million bellies. And the main mistake of spending all that money on a sword is that you're in C1 and have few status points to put into your character. I recommend that you spend your points on just 3 statuses, which are punch, defense, and fruit blocks. Here, on the other hand, if you add the sword, you'll have to put points into yet another status. And you don't even have any points, so that's not smart. Let's say we have 1,000 points to put into our statuses. Everything will depend on the fruit you're using, but I recommend you put 200 points in punch, 100 points in defense, and the remaining 700 points in fruit blocks. This will certainly make you very powerful. So write down this hint. Finally, you've reached level 700 and can access C2. Talking to the NPC, Experienced Captain. He will take you to this new world of many new possibilities and also of things you shouldn't get wrong. And one of the things players make the most mistakes about is wasting the factory. This is the factory and it has 200,000 HP. The factory is one of the most important things to do in C1 and players often forget to do it. By doing the factory, you can earn these rewards from 65 to 85,000 bellis, from 540 to 6,500,000 XP, the acid rifle, and you also get a random fruit for giving the biggest damage in the factory. If you don't know, the factory opens every hour and 30. And one of the most common mistakes players make in not doing the factory is simply not placing the home point in the cafeteria. Doing so cuts a long way off from getting here. When you see the message that the factory is spawning, you'll simply run up to it at lightning speed and defeat it, just like I did, with the chance of being the guy who gave the biggest damage to it. And because you've just reached C1, you don't have to care if you're defeated and lose your bounty while you're facing the factory. After all, here you don't have to care about the bounty yet, my friend. And one of the best fruits for breaking the factory are Buddha, Light, and Magma. A very common mistake players make is not have most powerful accessories in C2. And you can get the most powerful accessory of all by defeating Doflamingo. But to defeat him, you first have to access him. And to do so, you just need to deliver a fruit worth 1 million or more to Trevor. And I obviously recommend that you give him a quake since it's a fruit that isn't worth much, but is worth $1 million, and Trevor will accept it. After that, you'll finally have access to Doflamingo's room, and it's here that you can pick up C1's most powerful accessory, which is simply Doflamingo's glasses. It's showing on the screen, and the benefits of this goggle are the following: 25% more movement speed, 8% more all types of damage, minus 8% on the cooldown of your skills, which means that you'll be able to use your skills faster, 8% of defense against all the damage from Blox Fruits, 250 more energy, and 250 more HP, not to mention the freezing drip, which will make your character look extremely dope. Another common mistake is not having a more powerful C2 fighting style. SharkMan Karate, which you can buy here on Skull Island. Talk to the NPC Diag Rock, the Sharkman, and he'll ask you for 2,500,000 bellies and 5,000 fragment, and he'll also ask you for a key that drops from the most powerful boss in C2, the Admiral, who summons sea beasts. This little guy here, the Tidekeeper, who's level 1,475. What are you doing, man? Take that! After checking all the boxes, Dag Rock, the Sharkman, will give you the Shark Karate fighting style, which is one of the coolest fighting styles to make Sea Beast farms. Speaking of farms, another common mistake players make is not awakening fruit or raiding. To raid, all you have to do is come here to Hot and Cold Island and get in this lab. And of course, if you've never done a raid before, you need to activate the computer screen by clicking on these buttons in front of the screen and turn them red, blue, green, and blue like this. Leaving the screens like this will open these side doors that will give you access to the raid. And this is where Blox Fruits starts to get even more interesting. Because just like in the anime, you'll be able to awaken your fruits by talking to the mysterious scientist. And to do a normal raid, he'll ask you for 100,000 bellies or one fruit. And I highly recommend that you do the magma raid and awaken it as much as possible, because this is one of the best fruits in C2 along with the Buddha. In addition, I recommend that you do the raid with friends, because it's not only more fun, but it's also much faster and easier to defeat the bosses, because the bosses can be quite tricky if you're alone. Like the magma raid, for example, and where the magma boss is a pretty rough guy. And he'll do everything he can to end your life. After defeating the boss, that you finally finish the raid, earned 1,000 fragments, and will have the opportunity to talk to the mysterious entity NPC. It's at this NPC that you'll awaken your little fruit. For example, I've just awakened another skill for 2,000 fragments. Another thing you shouldn't do is get scammed in trades. There's a room on my Discord server where people trade. But every 1 second, there's someone sending a message. And here you can learn a bit more about trading. For example, Lulu wants to trade a dragon for a Buddha and a control for a dark blade. It really is a fair trade. So, if you're still not in my Discord, a great tip is to join it. And I'll leave the link in the description. You finally reach C3 and it's level 1,500. One mistake people often make here at C3 is to focus on PvP before reaching the maximum level. Before you start the PvP, you still need to get the Hunter's Cape, which you get from Elite Hunters. You also need to master all the fighting styles you've obtained so far in order to enter this secret tree and get the most powerful fighting style of all for PvP, which is the God-Human fighting style. And of course, before focusing on PvP, the player must reach the maximum level, because this will give you a huge advantage in battles. There's no point in starting PvP at a low level. Another mistake players often make is not activating Rainbow Hockey. To do this quest is very simple. You just need to talk to the Horned Man, who is located in this large tree on Turtle Mountain. And when you talk to him, he'll ask you to defeat 5 bosses in a row. Chef Stone from Harbor Island, Island Empress, who is located here on Hydro Island. Kilo Admiral Boss, who always has an umbrella on her back and is located in the Big Tree Cave. Captain Elephant, also located here on Turtle Mountain Island. This boss is one of the coolest bosses of all. And Beautiful Pirate Boss, located inside this stylish cave. This is also a very powerful boss, level 1,950. Once you've defeated all these bosses, just talk to the color expert NPCs and you'll get the Rainbow Hockey. the most powerful hockey in Blox Fruits. Another very common mistake is not going after your V4 race. And to get the V4 race, you first have to get the Chalice of the Gods, which there are two ways to get. The first is by defeating the elite hunters, who are scattered around C3. The second is by collecting chests on a server that has been opened for 4 hours. By doing this, you can get the chalice. Then just give it to the NPC Drip Mama and you'll summon Katakuri in V2 form. I advise you to defeat Katakuri with more friends and because he's very powerful. And by defeating him, you'll get what we want so badly, which is the fractal mirror. That's right, this mirror. With this mirror, you'll need to look for Mirage Island. It's an island that you find after 6,000 meters from Tiki Outpost. It's quite tricky to find, but you have to be persistent. Perseverance, my friend. Go to the top of the island and point to the moon at the top and use the V3 race to look at it. And the magic will happen. The moon will shine. And once it has, you'll have to find the gear. Once you've found the gear, you're ready to do the V4 race trial. I'm playing a human, so I'm going to defeat the human boss here together with my friends who helped me activate the door. To defeat this boss, I gotta tell you, that is quite chill. After that, the trial begins. My friends give up and give me the incredible power of the human V4 race. Another mistake many players make is forgetting to do the pirate raid in the sea castle. This raid takes place every hour and a quarter. And by defeating all the pirates, you get a very nice reward, which is a random fruit from Blox Fruits, any of them. And it also 100 fragments. I've now won a bird fruit to make my treasure even more exciting. I hope you enjoyed these tips. A hug from your friend Lucas. God bless you. Bye-bye.